Now, if they go cream, right? How do y'all do it? Y'all do stove? Y'all do not barbecue, but like luau style? How do y'all do it?
No, it's more of the crematory has this chamber that you put the body in, and that's how the body's cremated.
And is it briquettes or wood? Like, what is in there? Do you know?
No, it's gas.
Oh, damn.
Because it has to be it's preheated to about 1,400 degrees before the body goes in.
And do you put the body in there?
No, I've got somebody else that does that.
Okay. And is that a trustworthy person usually? That person to
Yes.
me seems shady.
Yeah, no, that's a very trustworthy person.
Wow. Because I just can't. I mean, and how long does it take to really grill somebody down?
Most of the time, it depends upon the size of the person and how new the crematory is.
Like a grandparent, though, how much you think?
Oh, you're probably a little over an hour.
Damn. And what about what about that 600-pounder?
Now, see, that's different because you think of somebody that's 600 pounds and the fat that's on them.
Oh, yeah.
That becomes a controlled grease fire. So the crematories have weight limits on them. So some crematories can only do 500 pounds. Some of them can only do like 700 pounds. Some of them are rated for 1,000. And so you have to make sure that you don't get somebody too large for that crematory, because otherwise you can have a major problem. One of my friends who had a crematory, he was cremating somebody, and he didn't realize that they were as obese as they were, and so he had a grease fire going. You couldn't tell it from inside, but the crematory was smoking, and they're not supposed to smoke because the afterburner is supposed to be burning off all that smoke. Well, he was in downtown in a city and rolling black smoke. He gets a call from the funeral home.
And what, he just set it to cook and left? He just like a
no,
crock
he was sitting inside the building with the crematory.
Oh.
And so he was sitting in there,
He didn't notice.
And he couldn't see all the smoke outside.
And he gets a call from probably a Native American, I guess, saying, "Hey man, look, y'all got some rough signals rolling, huh?"
But the funeral home was actually across the street from the crematory, and somebody from the funeral home called and said, "What's going on over there? You're rolling a lot of smoke." Well, about the same time that they called, the fire department showed up.
And the fire department had to come?
The fire department came because there was all this smoke. And it wasn't anything that needed the fire department, but they just showed up.
Wow.
So needless to say, he learned a lot that day.
Dang. So because the body, it's just like having, my sister sometimes, her and her husband will make, cracklings, They'll make cracklings in the yard, and they'll cut up all the fat and put it in this big open thing. And somebody's got to be right there with like a boat oar, just kind of hitting it every now and then. Once they put the body in the into the crematorium, into the furnace, do they kind of hit it with a thing every now and then, or it's one time? It's kind of just start and close the door.
No, it's kind of start and close the door, and then of course they'll run it through, to grind up the bones and everything that don't burn down.
So there's a grinder in there too?
Well, no, the grinder's after they pull the cremains out.
Okay, so you put that body in, you grill them down, And can you do well done? Can you do rare? Or it's just one?
No, it's just one setting.
Okay. Damn, one setting.
You can't get a medium rare person.
Yeah, that's what I would go. Something a little bit more, ceviche or something.
Not quite so fine.
Yeah. I want to be a little grainy, So once they get that bone and everything else burns down,
they take, and what doesn't burn down, they run through that kind of grinder, and to where they can make it real fine.
Okay.
And depending on what crematory you use and what kind of grinder they've got, some cremains are finer than others.
Really? Uh-huh. So who's more of a finer cremain? Like, what are you talking about? Like a Japanese guy?
No, it's just, because a lot of times there's companies that own these crematories, so that so every funeral home doesn't have to own one. There's like a third party guy that has this crematory, and you take your body there, and they'll do it for you. And so some of those guys, if they have newer stuff, it might be finer than the older,
if they're running that push mower.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. Every now and then you got somebody who just, they haven't sharpened the silverware in a while.
Exactly.
Like, damn, what are y'all cremating this thing with, spoons?
One thing about the cremation process that you'll find interesting.
Yeah.
If somebody has a pacemaker, that has to be removed before cremation, because that battery will explode.
No.
And and if that battery explodes, it can actually ruin the chamber that they use for the cremation.
Wow. It's like when some asshole would throw a can of WD-40 in a ditch fire when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's out there.
Or that can of hairspray.
Yeah.
That white rain.
Somebody whip a can of white rain in that fucking fire, bro.
That projectile's coming at you.
Yeah, dude, somebody's going down, man. That's when you just let the Lord work, man. That was kind of like a rural version of Russian roulette, man. Everybody's out there. Somebody's cooking a wiener. A couple kids are just running, just jumping through the fire. This little evil Knievels. And then some a-hole just flips a can of Aquanet into that bastard.
That's right.
And somebody's, it's just pure luck from there on out.
Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could watch this one, or watch this one. Watch this one, watch this one, watch this one. Ah!